Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Throwaway9474592. My 24 female boyfriend, 24 male, won't let go of the past. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a year and a half. In the beginning, he was very closed off about his feelings and secretive. After about 6 months, he finally started to open up about a rough childhood, and many things about his personality started to make sense. We had a wonderful time getting to know each other and had a ton of fun. We could joke around and just enjoy each other. For the last 6 months or so, he has become very controlling. He gets upset about things that honestly most people would not get upset about. He gets mad if I am drinking without him, if I go out with my sister, and if I basically do anything without him. I feel like he takes it personally when I'm having fun when he isn't there. If he is uncomfortable with a situation, he will totally close off and not speak. An example of this is once I had a work event where we got into an argument on the way there. The entire time at the table with all of my bosses, he did not speak and stared at his phone. When they tried to engage him in conversation, he was rude. His excuse was that he couldn't fake it. He doesn't yell at me or anything, he just gets incredibly passive-aggressive. He makes comments to me that are quite rude, but then will say I'm just sensitive. I have a job and I'm into my career while he is still in college. He obviously feels pretty insecure about this and has made comments about my career bringing it down. We have discussed how this has upset me and he has cooled it with these comments. There have also been comments about my hair color and how he doesn't want me to wear makeup. Regardless of all of this, we do have a great relationship and we love each other very much. We have a ton of fun together and I have been able to look past all of the comments and controlling behavior. However, it is difficult. The real issues come into play when a couple of weeks ago a guy friend came to my house with my best girlfriend. I did not tell my boyfriend about this right away because I knew he would freak out and I wanted to enjoy the time with my best girlfriend. They were only at my house for about a half hour, but during this time one of them put it in their Snapchat and he saw it before I told him what was going on. He has spent practically the last month punishing me for this. That same week, I threw him a surprise birthday party and he spent the entire time making comments telling everybody I ruined his birthday anyway. The next day, he kept bringing up how I wasn't there to hold his hair back when he was throwing up from drinking too much and how it ruined the entire night for him. The next night, I didn't want to go out and was very tired. We went upstate to one of my family members' houses and he freaked out and got upset with me and kept saying if I was there with my sister, I would want to go out. Later that week, he showed me he had been texting his ex-girlfriend, but he wanted to be honest with me about it. I feel he texted her and then showed me just to upset me. I am at a complete loss. I have asked him to please let go of the situation with my friend who came over, but he won't. I feel like every single thing we talk about, he somehow traps me to make me look like I'm wrong. During one of our conversations, he told me he thinks I should go see a therapist because of how upset I have been getting. He has started seeing a therapist. Regardless, I still love him and don't want to break up, but don't know how to fix this. Well, OP, I know you say you don't want to break up, but you also don't know how to fix it, and I think that's your problem right there, because the only fix is to remove the boyfriend. This guy is good at being passive-aggressive and controlling, and he's also emotionally manipulative, trying to make you feel bad about everything, and he gaslights you the whole time to make you feel like you're wrong. And also that little stunt about him wanting to be honest with you because he started texting his ex-girlfriend but showed you. Come on, that's just too much. That's manipulation 101 right there. I would say, OP, he is right about one thing. Maybe you should get some help as a therapist because if you love somebody like this guy, then you have some issues that you need to work on. I'm not sure you love him, maybe you love the idea of a relationship, or maybe you're just emotionally trapped and that's why you feel like you love him. But this can't be love. Love isn't like this. It's not selfish at all. Or at least that's the way I see love. And what about you guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Fight Max Master says, quote, I did not tell my boyfriend about this right away because I knew he would freak out. End quote. This is a terrible sign. A great relationship doesn't involve hiding things from someone because they might freak out. Don't get me wrong, I'm saying he shouldn't freak out, not that you shouldn't see your friends, but nothing good will come of hiding it. You're not dealing with the underlying issue, and as you discovered, when the truth comes out, the crap will hit the fan anyway. He won't change, at least not without sustained therapy. The best thing you can do is not cater to his tantrums or reward his crappy comments by trying not to upset him. Do all the perfectly normal things you want to do, and if he has a problem with it, leave him to work through his feelings himself. He'll either figure out he's being unreasonable, or sorry to say, more likely he'll freak out and end things between you. If it goes that direction, you'll be better off for it. And OP responds, I told him last night that he can either let go of all the issues we've had since the problem with when my friend came over, or it was over. I deserve to be with someone who isn't going to constantly bring things up and punish me. He kept insisting we need to speak in person and resolve this in person, even though we have spoken about this in person numerous times. But when I asked him what else we could talk about in person, he had no answer and said I was distracting him and he can't remember the specific things, so that is why it has to be in person. I feel like he just wants to see me in person to punish me and make me feel bad face to face, but I just can't handle that anymore. My heart is broken and I'm so upset. All I want is him, but it can't go on like this. Deleted says, he is an abuser. He is abusing you and it is only going to get worse. People like this rarely change with therapy, and they only change when they recognize that they are being abusive and want to change. He hasn't shown any of that. Instead, he's getting more abusive. He's gaslighting you, manipulating you, and controlling you. I know you don't want to break up, but you really need to, because this is only going to get worse. And the worse it gets, the more you'll feel trapped and the harder it'll be to leave. Quote, he makes everything your fault somehow, end quote. That's going to get worse and you're going to start believing it more and more. Please get out. And OP responds, he started going to therapy because he recognized that what he has been doing is wrong. However, I think you're right that he hasn't actually changed. Celestial Brush 2014 says, everyone wrote great advice. To add, if only as a last straw, show him this thread, which will show starkly how you feel. Never hide things for your own sake. Else, it doesn't sound like he'll change, even with therapy. Intentional or not, he's abusive and not at all understanding. The fact he tried to upset you, seemingly intentionally, about texting his ex exacerbates that and is deplorable. You may well think back years later how horrible that really is. I apologize if this is rude, but based on your anecdotal evidence, his behavior is childish and definitely exhibits a young mental age. Kind, decent souls should never take out their own anger or stress to intentionally upset others, but you love him and I sincerely hope everything will work out for you. I really have my fingers crossed, but if you want change, you yourself must change, and therefore tell and show him explicitly how you feel. Please try, don't suffer. OP's edit. When my friend came over, nothing happened. We just hung out. I did not mention that I hooked up with this guy once in high school. This has always been a huge deal to my boyfriend. He says I will never understand because I'm not a guy, and that with this friend in particular, he always says it should be enough that it makes him uncomfortable for me to stop seeing him and being his friend. Then he always goes back and says he isn't making me do anything and I can do whatever I want. Then, last night, he told me that his therapist from his college says that I'm the one who is wrong and that it isn't all him. Apparently, he wrote down all of the things I've said in the last 3 weeks as we've been fighting and showed her, and she said I use you too much. Finally, and considering everything, I do want to say that not everything is bad. He can be very kind and affectionate, always holds my hand, and we do have a great time together, or at least we used to. It is all just so up and down. So, the community gave OP very varied advice, going from work it out to get out. And the information on the edit just tells me that OP should get out even quicker. I mean, the gaslighting is ridiculous, and even using the therapist to do it, man. So with all of that, let's now move on to the update to see how this story ends. I had last spoken to him on Wednesday, where I told him unless he could let go of the past and stop bringing things up, then this relationship was over. I was done being the emotional punching bag. I ended up breaking up with him on Saturday. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but there were a couple of things that really sealed the deal for me. When he came into the house, I hadn't even brushed my teeth yet, so I went to go do that. As I'm brushing my teeth, he immediately stated that I was brushing my teeth wrong and, "When are you ever going to listen to me about how to brush your teeth?" Then, when we went to my room, he asked how much I had cried since Wednesday. When he said this, he looked happy. Like, it made him happy that I was so upset about this whole thing. Like, he took it as flattery. It was at that moment I knew it had to be over. I love him so much and I'm pretty miserable. However, I know I needed to do it. I keep thinking that if I were in his shoes and the relationship was so rocky, I wouldn't be criticizing him on how he brushes his damn teeth. When I was breaking up with him, he kept saying that this was the wake-up call, he was going to change, that I was giving up on him, and that at least he can say he tried and I can't say that. He was relentless, but I stuck to my guns. Before he left, he told me he really hoped I would see a therapist because I needed help. It should also be noted that I am the same user who wrote a relationship advice post about having a boyfriend who wanted me to change my hair color. He wanted me to stop bleaching my hair blonde because he couldn't date me unless he saw me natural. I stopped bleaching my hair and for a long time he gave the affirmation, "Wow, you're so beautiful natural," and all that stuff. Then I highlighted it and he could barely speak to me when I did. I should have ended it then. I deleted the post, so I cannot link it, but I honestly should have listened to you all then and not gotten so invested in someone who constantly felt the need to want to change me through controlling comments. Side note, ILG looked all over for that other post, and OP did a really good job deleting it because I couldn't find it anywhere. Right now, I'm happy, then very sad, usually at night, but I know I will get through it. It is sad because at first all of the jealousy is so flattering, but then it got totally out of control. I feel like I lost a part of who I am just to be who he wanted. When I would do something he didn't like, it was like I had convinced myself that I must be wrong. What I liked about him, I think, was more that in the beginning he was really great, and I was just very blinded by my attraction and love for him. I will for sure be more careful of red flags in the future. The worst part is that I don't think he will ever see himself as the abuser. In the last 2 months, he has for sure broken down and admitted he is wrong in his behavior, has even cried himself about it. However, it changed nothing. But whatever, not my problem anymore. For now, even though it is really hard, I keep thinking about the positives. I can go home early without him being upset that I want to go home. I can go to bed early and not deal with him being upset that I won't stay up to talk to him. I can drink coffee without him constantly saying how it is making my teeth yellow. I can forget to moisturize my legs or elbows and not deal with him commenting on how ashy I am. I could go on and on. OP's edit. Oh my god, you guys are so awesome. I have been so upset, but reading these posts has further let me know that I did the right thing. The hardest part is that there were great times, and even reading my posts, I worry that I was too hard on him and painted him too negatively. But I'm seeing now that this is just me making excuses. I feel terribly guilty about how sad he must be, but I know this will soon fade. You are absolutely amazing and kind. Alright OP, well I'm gonna count this one as a half positive update. Positive because you ended the relationship and you got out of there. And the negative half is that this douche really did a number on you and you should work on that. So here's hoping all the best for you in the future OP. Take care. And now let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user My Nuts Are Musical. Builders dump stuff in front of my office door. Builder's lunch now paints the walls. I work alone in a small office in a public building that is undergoing some renovations and it's closed to the public. There is an office space in front of my office that is usually unoccupied. Think of an office space with a manager's office attached at the end. I just rent the manager's office. Building managers were supposed to notify us if they ever intended to rent out the space in front of my office so we could build a temporary wall or something so I don't need to walk through someone else's office to get to mine. But I guess they thought they didn't need to do this because the builders are only there temporarily. So now the space is occupied by the site office for construction. I'm slightly annoyed at the building management for not notifying me of this, but I'm way more annoyed at the builders because the space has turned into a dumping ground. To get to my office, I have to walk past light fixtures, tool bags, random chairs in the hallway, and a toilet bowl. And I have to listen to builders talking crap while 12 of them sit in a room fit for 5 having lunch. It's like a teenager's bedroom, but instead of clothes and stale socks, the floor is covered in building materials and tools. I ask them to keep it clear as it's the walkway to my office and not a storeroom, and they say sure, but basically roll their eyes at me and do nothing. So I took some pictures of the mess and reported it to the building management, and 1 week later they tidied up slightly and gave me a sassy, we cleaned up a bit around here for you mate, no need to thank us, as I walked in that morning. A few minutes later and it was almost worse than it was before, to the point I couldn't leave my office without moving 4 boxes of supplies out from directly in front of the door. I also hear them whispering about how I'm such a crybaby and a stuck-up public servant. I'm private sector, but whatever. Q2 today. I go to step out to get a coffee, and before I open the door, I look through the window of the door to see someone's half-eaten spaghetti sitting on the floor right in front of the doorway. I lose my composure for a moment and say, F it. Open the door and trip on the bowl of spaghetti, causing it to spray all over the room and the 2 builders in the room. Spaghetti gets on everything, sauce on their computers, noodles in the bloody toilet bowl, it's in the carpet, and most impressively all over the builders. They start to shout at me, but I get just as mad saying, who the hell puts a bowl of spaghetti on the floor in front of a door? I kind of snapped at this point and started blasting them, which is very out of character for me. I told them, this is an office, not a storeroom, and you're worse than my teenage nephew, and told them to clean their crap up or I'll start kicking everything aside that's in the path, delicate or not. They sheepishly say yes, and I go get my coffee. When I return, no one is in the office, and the mess is still on everything. I think they wiped the laptops down, but I don't care at this point and retreat into my office and focus on work. Fast forward a few hours and I get an email from the building management. I crack a huge smile as I read an email basically saying, the builders reported your conduct and had us come to inspect the damage. However, we noticed the unacceptable amounts of mess in the office space had not been cleared up from the last time we asked them to, and they admitted the food was placed on the floor in front of the doorway. So we expect them to clean up the mess, pay for cleaning, and place no blame on you in this case. If the mess comes back, call us directly as they are on their last warning from a few other incidents in the building. It was a longer and more official email, but you get the point. So now I'm occasionally looking through the window on the door while builders crawl around on their hands and knees scrubbing spaghetti out of the carpet. I'm not proud of losing my cool and handling things the way I did, but I won't deny that it worked, and it felt really good. Well done, OP, for standing up for yourself, and hopefully they learned not to put bowls of spaghetti in front of a door. Thank you for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.